everyone, and welcome back to the Global Missions channel. For those of you who is new to our channel, this is the Global Missions Ministry channel, and the ministry is currently based at Dimapur in Nagaland. So if you haven't subscribed to our channel, go and hit the subscribe button, and also remember to hit the bell icon so that you will be the first person to watch our videos when we upload in future. Today, in this video, I will be sharing my personal experience, how amazing and beautiful it is, the power of prayer, the power of a humble prayer. How beautiful it is. Okay, like before going into the content, let me first introduce myself. My name is Kawizengdauliu, and by profession I am an advocate. You see, I am saying this because in my sharing I will be speaking something related to my profession, and the kind of person I have become today. What I am today is all because of God's grace. You see, raised from a middle-class family, I had very less exposure in so many things, okay? So, whenever I come across the word advocates and lawyers, I always think that advocates and lawyers are so very rich and so full of money, is what I used to think. Of course, I am not denying the fact that that advocates and lawyers are, I am not denying that they are not rich. Of course they are. When you are fully established, when an advocate is fully established, no one can stop him or her from getting rich. But you see, the kind of notion, the kind of impression I had about this profession was that no matter like how junior or senior you are, you will be rich if you enrolled yourself as an advocate, was what I used to think. I know it was so lame on my part to be thinking like that, okay? But you see, like I told, I had very less exposure, like when it comes to ideas or places or things, blah blah. And you see, the real picture, the real reality started to pour in when I passed out my LLB course, and then when I really entered into the field of advocacy. Because the kind of impression I had about advocates and then the ground reality was totally different. The word money and finance was always a big problem for me. Because I was broke almost all the time. Like, I used to be bankrupt almost all the time. And I used to think that I was richer during my student life. I used to think like that. Because I was initially I was getting paid just a nominal amount, and that amount was not sufficient even to pay my fees or to get my basic daily needs. And so even after I started in the profession, I still had to depend on my parents. You see, as a girl, from my childhood, I always had this heart in me. I always have this passion in me, the eagerness to help my parents in whichever way I can. Of course, especially when it comes to finance, I really wanted to help my parents. Be it big amount or in small amount, I always wanted to help my parents. And so I thought that, okay, now that I am in the profession, I should be able to help my parents, and I should also be able to support myself, was what I thought. But the ground reality was totally different. I still had to depend on my parents for my pocket money. I still had to depend on my parents to buy my cosmetics, to buy my daily needs. And that was really embarrassing. initially I really had to struggle, and I felt like the struggle was so very real. And so I went into depression. I was frustrated at my own life. I started to think that maybe I chose the wrong profession. I started to doubt on myself. I started to ask, like, seriously, like, is this really the kind of profession you really thought you really want to end it up with? And so I went into depression. I really really struggled with my own thoughts. Because maybe I had created a castle of extra hope and confidence in this profession. I am not blaming my profession, okay? But I am blaming my own kind of impression I had back then. You see, things was not easy initially to start as a junior advocate. Here, on one side, I really wanted to help my parents. But on the other side, I am not even able to support myself. And it was at that point of time, another door was opened for me. Like, another opportunity was introduced to me where the finance flow will be very good, and then where I will be able to support myself. I was introduced to that opportunity. And so I was confused, like, okay, I want to stick to my profession of advocacy, but since I am facing a lot of financial crisis, I was confused, like, whether I should stick to this profession or whether I should switch to the other profession where the finance flow will be good. And so I asked my parents, like, you see, I have this opportunity where the income will be very good, and I want to do that work as well, but I want to stick to my profession as well. So what should I do? What will be your suggestions? I asked my parents, and my parents, they told that, you say, you know what will be best for you, and so it is up to you, like, you make wise decisions, and so it's up to you, like, whichever you choose, will be best for you. And that gave me even more confusions. Of course, like, I am in dire need of money and I really wanted to help my parents. Looking from that point of view, I would definitely want to switch my profession. But there was this thin voice that keeps on telling that I should stick to my profession, like, stick to my profession of advocacy. Because all these years, my parents, the sacrifices that my parents had put on me will be in vain if I just switch my profession just because the finance flow was good in that profession. So I was very confused, like, I was in a crossroad. I did not know which one to choose. After I talked to my parents that night, I prayed to God. I knelt down and I asked an ardent prayer. God, you see, you know what will be best for me. You know, your plans are always better. Your plans are always the best. And so you know what will be best for me. So if it is your will, if you want me to stick to this profession, or if you want me to switch to the other profession, kindly show me some sign, or come and speak to my heart, was what I prayed to God. And after my prayer, I opened my Bible. I just randomly opened my Bible, and then I used to have this notion, okay? I used to have this notion that I will randomly open a Bible, and then on which verse my eyes fall first, that will be, that will be like the kind of God showing me the way. So that was what I used to have notion. And so even that night, even that particular night after my prayer, I just randomly opened my Bible, and then my eyes directly fell on the book of Matthew chapter 6 verse 24. What does it say? Matthew chapter 6 verse 24. It says that nobody can serve two masters. Either he will be devoted to one and despise the other, or he will either love the one and hate the other. So no person can serve both God and money. Like, wow, I was so thrilled. Like, at that point of time, I was having this mixed emotion. I was feeling, my heart was so full of joy, and I really wanted to cry, and I want to laugh as well, because God showed me in a way, like God was showing me the sign that, okay, you should stick to this profession, because money is not everything in your life. God was telling me that. I was so happy. And after that night, I started to see beauty in my struggle. Gradually and slowly, I started seeing beauty in my brokenness. Never have I ever had a direct encounter, or never have I ever got an instant revelation from God like I had that night. It was so good, like the experience was so good. It was so good, and it was so real and intense. Tonight, through my sharing, I really want to encourage, and I want to remind all of you that, you see, no matter in what situations you are, or no matter if you are going through frustrations or depression in your life, I want you to remind you that pray to God, because God will never turn his back on you, because God will never turn his back to a humble prayer made before him. Pray to God. Pray to God. Keep faith. Take courage and pray to God to show you the way. And God will show you the way, because from my own personal experience, he really showed me the way. And today, I am this. The person I have become is all because of God's grace. It's all because of the revelation I had got that night. I want to remind you once again that God knows the best for us, and his plans are always the best for us, and he will be right on time. He will never make mistakes. Today, if I look back to those days, if I retrospect to those days, if I had switched my profession, I will not be the same person as I am today. Of course, financially, I will be very stable and I will be very sound. But I don't know, spiritually, whether I will be the same. God knows the best. All you need is a leap of faith in him, and allow God to work miracles, allow God to work wonders in your life. So this is my prayer, that if any one of you is going through any situation in life, this is my prayer that God will show you the way, and God will deliver you from that situation. Thank you all so much for joining with me till the last. God bless you all, and thank you so much.